The post-apocalyptic world of The Last of Us is full of deadly perils. Desperate hunters ready to murder you and literally steal the shoes off your feet. Starving cannibals ready to make their next meal from your flesh. Blind but relentless clickers seeking to tear your throat out. Heavily armoured bloaters using their own fungal fruiting as a deadly projectile. But all of these pale in comparison to the murderous power of a 52-year-old man wielding a brick. Joel Miller is an absolute menace, especially with a brick in his hand. But also with a bottle, any kind of big stick, or even just the fists that God gave him. And that's without mentioning the arsenal of guns and bombs that this man has at his disposal. And it'll be another 5 years until anyone discovers his one weakness.
You don't get to rush
Golf clubs. So, with all of that power at our fingertips, our mission today is simple. To kill every single enemy in the game on the hardest difficulty without dying. Let's start with the ground rules for this challenge. First and foremost, if a character is an enemy, they have to die. That's straightforward enough. The exceptions to this are enemies which spawn infinitely, because we by definition cannot kill them all. Enemies that are out of bounds, meaning that we cannot physically reach them to melee kill them. And enemies in a scripted chase sequence that isn't designed as a combat encounter. I'll detail these as we get to them in the run. But what counts as an exception is detailed in the rules of the Last of Us Challenge Run's Discord server, rather than me just making it up based on my own convenience. Beyond that, the run needs to be on grounded difficulty and whole game permadeath. And we're not allowed to use the game's lock-on aim, awareness indicators, high contrast display, skip puzzle, infinite breath, enhanced listen mode, or combat accessibility settings. All the usual stuff for a grounded permadeath challenge run. So, as Bill would say,
time to sack up.
Joel's kill-all run in this game begins similar to my career as a content creator. He's stuck trying to survive in a soul-destroying job, only for a global pandemic to interrupt the status quo. And sure, COVID didn't turn anybody into a fungus zombie, but we have social media and online comment sections for that, so it's basically the same. Though, I must for legal reasons state that I have only ever shot people in video games and haven't ever killed a neighbour. The only enemies who can be killed in the prologue, Jimmy and the Fedra soldier who shoots Sarah, get shot in cutscenes, so there's no actual combat for us to engage in the first 15 minutes of the game. And, just to be clear, the guy you can mercy kill at the beginning doesn't count as an enemy or as combat. There's no requirement to kill him for a valid kill-all run, and there's no stakes involved whether you do or not. So we ignore him and move on to the first actual enemies of the game. 3 infected who we make light work of by sprinting through and killing the first with a single kick while he's feeding, getting the second with a leg stun and a kick, then using Joel's battering ram-like sprint punch to take down the third. Once we hit the slums, we see off the first 2 enemies with headshots. In the next area, we grab one and headshot another before bulldozing into the last, who tries to beg for his life, but we don't even look at him, mainly because turning the camera allows us to get the kill faster by interrupting the begging dialogue. Finally, 2 patented Joel Miller strangulations.
But daddy is a state of mind, you know what I'm saying? I'm your daddy.
Another hostage and headshot, followed by a bottle beatdown, takes us into the Wharf. Robert scuttles away before we strangle 4 of his men in succession. The last 2 spot us, but we stun and grab one, headshot the other, and end with a 5th bout of asphyxiation. Then, we catch up to Robert, who tries to bargain for his life by selling out the Fireflies.
That is a stupid idea.
Marlene, despite being mortally wounded, shows far more will than Robert and joins in with the murder of Fedra at the key. shivving one enemy as we strangle another. After strangling the third enemy, we use the fourth as a shield while headshotting the fifth, and the sixth gets whacked with a stick. After a rest and a health regen, we enter a surprisingly tough early area for kill all. We can run straight through the majority of the outside chapter, all of the enemies here being out of bounds and so not counting. But then we enter an area with 4 Fedra soldiers on the ground and 1 out of bounds on the balcony. On non-kill all runs we can sprint and escape here with ease, but of course this time we're not allowed to do that. You might think 4 enemies, all with only pistols, are not a problem. But it's a guarantee that none will drop ammo when killed, and although we don't have to kill him, their mate on the balcony has a submachine gun, and so becomes a huge problem if left alive. We managed to stealthily kill 1, but are late when we grab the second, and our attempt to kill the guy on the balcony fails. Luckily, Tess finishes him off for us, so we don't have to contend with machine gun fire while stunning and killing the last 2. This brought us to downtown, where a clicker reduced us to half health in a scripted event, before Tess made mush of its face. Then we were on to our first actual combat clicker, and in turn Joel's first brick smash of the run. There were also 2 snacks in this area, so we were already well on our way back to full health before we picked up the revolver and dropped into the tilted building encounter. The strategy here was simple. 3 revolver shots for the first runners, a brick smash for the clicker, and finally a bottle and a whack for the last runner. Light work.
Patch yourself up.
After another snack and some resources off Tess, it's time to head into the subway, where 5 clickers and 3 runners await us. Like the outside area with Fedra, this was an area we would sneak through undetected on other runs. But unlike that area, we didn't have to worry about machine guns. The clickers, however, did have to worry about bricks. 1 brick smash, shoot a runner. Another brick smash, shoot another runner. And 3 brick and stick combos. Throughout all of that, the last runner stayed asleep. So we kindly woke him up and fed him a boot for breakfast. Out of the subway, we took care of the 3 runners by the museum with revolver bullets and a knuckle sandwich. Then we were into the museum, where 3 clickers each had a brick with their name on it downstairs. Except that one of the bricks didn't work as intended, breaking early because we missed the first hit. So we instead finished it with a bottle stun and a headshot. Upstairs, we took care of the 6 runners, mostly by whacking them over the head with a bottle and kicking them when they were down. All of which took us to the Capitol building.
Home stretch, Tess.
Oh, Joel. If only. The 4 Fedra who kill Tess might look like they're out of bounds, but they actually do follow you up if you wait around long enough. So they're actually not. Therefore, our only choice is to chuck a Molotov and shoot down the one that it missed. Sorry guys, it's the rules. The next 4 in the main upstairs area, we simply shot as they helpfully came to us one by one. Downstairs, we speed past their lines before they take up positions to wait for us, and so can strangle 4 of them in rapid succession while their comrades stare off into the distance, before grabbing the second to last and using him as a hostage while we shoot the other one by the door before strangling him. Then, after escaping the truck, we shoot the 2 in the subway before heading on to Billstown. There are 2 sleeping clickers at the start of this chapter who get a brick smash wake-up call, and then a 3rd blows itself up, and a 4th on the rooftops gets a makeover with a pipe. We also take a detour to beat down a runner before we get snared by the upside down trap. Here, there's an ammo manipulation trick we use to come out with between 16 and 18 revolver bullets. So we shoot the 5 runners and 1 clicker in phase 1, then completely empty the gun until we have no more bullets, so that Ellie throws us some more. In phase 2, we shoot 4 more runners and 1 more clicker, making sure to reload before and after the final shot, so that we have a full chamber. Then, after Bill decapitates the runner who jumps us as we drop, we find ourselves with the maximum of 18. A sure sign that everything in the rest of this run will go smoothly, right? The infected in this next sequence are infinitely spawning and part of a scripted chase, so we don't have to kill them. So we give a runner a single bash with a brick just to calm it down, and then brick smash 1 clicker for safety. Then it's on to Bill's safe house. On the way, we rudely awaken 5 sleeping infected, so that a bomb takes out 2 of them, and we can finish off the 2 clickers and remaining runner with a slap from Joel's sturdy pipe. After Bill gives us a shotgun and Ellie steals his pawn, our next destination was the graveyard, where we would find 7 clickers. Conventional wisdom around clickers is to keep quiet. So of course, we went in all shotguns blazing, with our trusty bricks for additional support. From the graveyard, we went into the backyards of suburban Lincoln. There, we stealthed 2 runners, brick smashed a clicker, whacked 3 more runners, brick smashed another clicker, and steamrolled the final 2 runners before going into the garden of a house share for 4 more clickers who, just like students in a similar housing situation, were asleep in the middle of the day. So we let them lie while taking out 3 with arrows and the 4th with our pistol. Outside the high school, there's a scripted alert once you pass the school buses. So rather than waste time sneaking here, we just charge right in. This leads to a dicey grab, because Joel's shotgun is, on occasion, abominably rubbish. But we recovered and took down 6 of the runners, with Bill getting the other 2.
Well, that was easier than I thought it'd be.
Once we were inside, we had 11 infected to deal with across 3 areas. And again, the easiest way to deal with them was to plow straight through them as Joel. And then, the bloater in the gym. 6 revolver bullets and a shotgun blast saw the big guy off quickly enough, while a 2-for-1 shotgun blast finished the runners with him. We didn't quite get the second double kill for the additional runners that spawn as we escape, so Joel's fists finished the job for 2 of the 3. Sprinting punches also saw off the 4 runners in between the high school and the house where we find Frank's body. Because, unlike in the TV show, Bill absolutely fumbled. The final stage of Bill's town is the truck push, where we have an upgraded baseball bat if we avoid picking up any upgraded melee weapons before this point. This, as well as the bricks and bottles dotted around, will be a great help with the 11 infected that we need to kill here. Phase 1, we use the upgrade to kill the clicker, then the bat to kill the runners. But we were scammed on the bat's durability, so it breaks far earlier than it has on previous runs. Phase 2, a shotgun beat-down combo gets the first 2 runners. A brick smash gets the clicker, and then a bottle melee combo sees off the last runner. And for phase 3, we shotgun 1 runner, brick smash clicker, bottle smash and boots another runner, and Bill kills the last one. After the truck rolls down the hill, the final group of infected are infinite, so we can skip them and ride on to Pittsburgh. The truck ambush is straightforward enough. After the 2 scripted melee kills, we shoot 1 hunter, but keep aiming long enough so the melee guy goes to flank us. Then we go right, bottle and grab the next guy, shoot the final guy of this phase, then kill the hostage, charge at the bus, and shotgun the 3 reinforcements as they drop. Then brick and whack the melee guy, who'd gone to flank us. Equally simple is the hunter checkpoint, where we can sprint to meet the 3 who climb the bus, shotgun them, and get the kills fast enough that we get no reinforcements. It's at the bookstore where things start to go wrong. We throw a bottle distraction to interrupt the dialogue of the first 3, but we don't shoot the second of them fast enough. So the third alerts, and after shotgunning him, we're forced to improvise as reinforcements have spawned and patrol patterns have changed. So we resort to moving between the 2 sides of the building to pick off who we can to whittle down the numbers. We have a particularly spicy moment when 2 close on our position at once. And after we go loud, we have to take out a couple more and use a Molotov to prevent a guy with a shotgun closing in. But at this point, we still haven't taken damage, so we're doing good. Finally, we get upstairs. But alert, so we have to retreat again, albeit after getting 2 more kills. We then pick our moment to return upstairs, and despite some awkward positioning, we get the final 2 kills for a total of 13. After the bookstore, the hotel also goes wrong. This time because of unfortunate RNG, leading to a soft alert on my way to my first stealth kill. We recover from that unseen, but it leaves 1 enemy stuck facing our direction. And when we brick him and go for the grab, Joel decides to open a drawer instead. Bruh. So we take cover and hold our ground until the 6 enemies who come for us on this floor are dead. This allows us to work on stealthing the floor above, once again going back and forth between the 2 ways into that area. However, we ultimately have to go loud and think quick to avoid being squeezed by the shotgun and rifle guys. Eventually, with a total of 14 corpses behind us, we try to push upstairs, only for Joel to break his back falling and drown. Just kidding. He's nuffard is our Joel. And so, we're off into the basement to have a go at some stalkers. We have 4 to deal with before we start the generator, which is normally a straightforward case of brick smashing each in turn. But a wall grab, perhaps the most egregiously bullshit mechanic in the whole game, being untelegraphed, unavoidable, and instant, and a slap which manages to reach us while we're sprinting away, makes it get far dicier than usual. And we have to use 2 health kits. Once we start the generator, we get 3 stalkers with a brick smash and 2 sprinting pipe swings, and then turn our attention to the bloater with a Molotov. 4 rifle bullets, 2 revolver bullets, and a pistol shot finish him off, rewarding us with an extra nail bomb. In the kitchen, we start off in stealth, but after the first stealth kill, we get a messy melee kill when the lock-on throw mechanic completely fails, and then use the 3rd guy as hostage to avoid taking a hit before killing him. And finally, we get another broken mechanic, Joel faking a throw, before actually throwing the bottle to stun the final guy so we can kill him. Ellie then gets her first kill, of many, as we've already covered in my video about doing a kill-all run on part 2. And we head into the financial district. Now, much like the other encounters we've faced in Pittsburgh so far, there's a really straightforward strategy for this area that I've pulled off 1,000 times. So of course, much like those encounters in this run, it all went to shit horribly fast, right? Actually no. It all went off without a hitch, with 6 stealth kills, 2 planted bombs, and a loud kill to ensure the first of the 3 additional spawns ended up right where we wanted them, so that a Molotov could take out most of them, in turn triggering the last 2 spawns, who immediately blew up as I was finishing off the last 2 enemies. This was the encounter I was expecting to go awry based on recent runs, not the bookstore or the hotel. And yet, here we are. It's just how it goes sometimes. On our way to Liberty Avenue, we had a roving pair of hunters who we whacked with a big stick. Liberty Ave was another basically perfect area, sprinting upstairs to get 3 rapid-fire stealth kills, then sprinting across the street to get the last group with a succession of arrows, and a headshot for the final guy. Easy peasy. Once we reached the truck turret, we killed the 3 on the near side of the road with a strangulation, a shotgun, and a knee of death. Then, timing our run to avoid the turret blasts, we got 2 more shotgun kills, a pipe hit, and a revolver shot, leaving us to bait the truck the wrong way before sprinting on to meet Henry and Sam. In the first encounter on the way to Searchlight, we alerted during the first stealth kill, and the melee guy came out of nowhere, sending me from full health to needing 2 health kits in a single hit. Luckily, the second encounter went better. A collat with a shotgun, allowing me to finish off both enemies quickly. At the Searchlight, we started off with a joint stealth kill. One of very few times Henry will actually be useful in this game. Then, the rest of the strategy is just a case of hitting your shots, which I mostly did, though a Molotov throw forced me to retreat before finishing off the remaining enemies.
Kobe!
Henry's second bout of usefulness comes in the form of a scripted kill on the enemy on the truck, saving me ammo, before he fucks off and leaves us to it for a while. Fortunately, the 4 hunters in the bar are easily enough dispatched, and unlike earlier, the truck turret now shoots like a stormtrooper, and so we're reunited just before entering the sewers. The sewers starts off well enough, letting me reuse a single arrow on 2 sleeping clickers. We then get the drop on this runner before dispatching his 2 mates and a clicker easily enough. Once we're separated again from Ellie and Henry, we even managed to pull off 2 clicker kills in the stalker area without a hitch. But there's definitely something about this run and stalkers, because they once again managed to make us hurt. We pull through, but them being able to both slap faster than we can pull the trigger and reach further with those slaps than we can sprint sure made it feel dicey. Once we drop down and reunite with Henry and Ellie, the infected who chase us here aren't actually infinite. This was a recent discovery, and in the challenge run Discord we went back and forth on whether to include them in kill all. You can see a previous video on this channel where I do a full kill all in the sewers, including this area, without using explosives. However, because the spawn is inconsistent, and because it's intended as a chase, with your allies immediately leaving the area and not fighting alongside you, as well as the enemies consistently not giving any ammo drops, we ultimately decided to leave it as an exception in the rules. As such, we can flee to the final sewer holdout. This area is also not infinite, and so with a Molotov, shorty, and our pipe, we can very easily be rid of the 10 infected who drop into the arena before we move on to the suburbs. For a kill all here, we have to go around both sides of the map, because after we've killed all the enemies on the left, there's a single enemy waiting on the right. So we quickly kill the shotgun and rifle guy as they spawn in, then use the kitchen counter for cover to take out the remaining 3 enemies in the initial push. Over the fence, a Molotov and pistol shots take care of the 4 by the sniper's house. Then we go around to the opposite side, where the last shotgun guy will be in whichever house we enter second. So we use a smoke bomb to incapacitate him before heading back and taking care of the sniper himself with his own shiv. The sniping section then gives us 21 human enemies to kill, including the truck, which is a simple enough rhythm. Essentially, you alternate between killing an enemy on the right and then the left and then back again. All you need to know are the boundaries for each phase of the sequence. Phase 1 is essentially the main street, with enemies either in the road on the right or on the grass verge on the left. Phase 2 is between that grass verge as the rightmost area enemies will come to and the far left of the map. Phase 3 is between the rightmost area we can see and the middle of the road. After we kill the guy in the truck and save Henry and Sam, we can just take pot shots at the infected till the cutscene. And... oh, my game crashed during a combat encounter, which must mean it counts as a death and the run is over. Yet somehow the game didn't count this as an unsafe area, and we were able to continue the run from the moment the infected horde came. Why this didn't count as a death, I don't know. I just counted my lucky stars, once again showed all of my settings to confirm I was following the rules, and went to Tommy's dam. For the first dam encounter, we sprint at the first two enemies to whack them with the pipe, snipe the two upstairs, use Shorty to kill the one who comes to the door, and then take out the shotgun guy so that the melee guy is the last survivor. We do this so we can kill him from a position where we can quickly get to the door that the next group of enemies spawn from, chuck a molly in, and keep a gun trained on it so that none of them come out to escape the flames. Then we sprint downstairs, ignoring the first two enemies as Tommy will take them out for us, and we use the shotgun and rifle to take out the two inside either door. Then bottle and melee the last. Once Ellie runs off and we get ambushed, we let the shotgun guy get close enough to smash with a bottle, headshot the molly guy before he can spam Molotovs at us, rifle the guy in the middle, then wait for the next three to push so we can shoot them down. The last guy wisely stays in hiding, but it's easy enough to bait him to shoot his helmet off and then headshot him. Then it's just a case of stealthing the first two upstairs in the ranch house and using a Molotov and Shorty blast to take out the three below. We leave Tommy behind and head to the university, where our first encounter is with 6 runners, who are easily dealt with by successive strangulations. Then we're into the dorms, where you would think a bloater and 4 clickers would pose a problem. But after using arrows to take down the 2 sleepers, Shorty dispatches the other 2, and then it's just a case of hazing the bloater with flames until he staggers a couple of times and finishing him off with pistol bullets. Then, for the humans in the science building, we prepare by planting 2 nail bombs before triggering the cutscenes. The bombs take out the 2 main waves, so all we need to do then is get the drop on the 2 melee enemies at the start, and the third who survives the bomb. Then, use a Molotov to take care of 2 of the last 3, with the final one easily shot since he wisely chose to take cover behind glass. This just leaves the scripted kills, while Joel is impaled on a rebar and on the way out of the building. But what's important is that after the last shot we take, we reload the revolver, and that we haven't reloaded it previously when picking up ammo during the encounter. This gives us a full chamber of 6 bullets, plus whatever we picked up for when Joel wakes up in winter. But first, Ellie. And after a speedy deer kill, we end up in a cabin with David, fending off infected. With the rifle one-shotting them, this is really just a matter of managing the space and making sure we don't let the clickers in. When the numbers do get overwhelming, we can keep our distance and let David finish a bunch off before the encounter ends. After this, things get spicy with the clicker that squeezes through David's barricade, but we recover and kill it. Then, we're on our own in an area with 4 clickers as we pass through, and another 2 that spawn once we're above it. So we use brick stuns to get 2 kills, the rifle to get the last 2, and then kill an additional clicker on the scaffold before sniping one from above and going back with a brick for the final one. All of which takes us into the coal mine elevator room. Here we plant 3 nail bombs, careful to throw them at a girder so they drop onto the roof safely rather than throw them on top of each other and risk them blowing up early. Then, with 2 Molotovs on hand as well, we're ready for the fight. This isn't that difficult once you're used to it. It's just a matter of keeping moving, hitting your shots, and using the bricks and bottles to get stuns when needed. Finally, the bloater drops straight onto the 3 nail bombs, and a Molotov and 2 rifle shots finish it off easily. But David is a wrong'un, and so we're forced to flee on horseback, where unfortunately, the horse comes off worse than we do. In the next area, we have 8 enemies to kill, but our usual stealth strategy goes wrong, forcing us to heal and retreat after the first 2 kills. Luckily, we have a good position to get additional kills from, and we can take out the next 4 from the back cabin before pushing on the last 2, who hardly put up a fight at all. Then we make sure we have the material for another Molotov before heading to the next area, where we have 5 enemies outside and 2 inside the resort to deal with. Bottle laws allow us to get some easy stealth kills before we go loud with the molly, and use our pistol and a bottle stun to deal with the last 2 outside. Inside, all it takes is a shotgun blast and a bottle. But before we can escape, David grabs us.
Relax. Keeping you alive here.
As Joel, we heal because we don't start this area on full health. But because of our actions in university, we do have 11 revolver bullets. So we easily take down the first 3 enemies who approach. The remaining 3 will flee if you kill them within the bounds of the fence. So for kill all, we need to get them from range. But this is easy enough with the revolver. Back as Ellie, there are 12 enemies between us and David. And ideally, we want to get there without picking up a gun, as it means that we can keep a bottle for the 3rd phase of that fight. So, in the first area, we take up a nice position to get 3 successive stealth kills. Then bottle and stab a 4th enemy, before having to seek out the 5th, lurking in the blizzard. In the second area, after 2 simple bottle stun kills, the 3rd enemy again plays hide and seek, and we come very close to losing the run. But luckily, we managed to recover and heal before the 3rd area. Here, we have to retreat only once, but otherwise manage to get the remaining kills without issue. Which brings us to David.
Easy to track.
Phase 1 goes off without a hitch, but Phase 2 goes awry as he follows us around a corner, so we have to retreat and reconsider. Luckily, he's dumb enough to fall for the same broken glass distraction multiple times before we get in the right position for the attack.
Whoops. What a clever girl. Careful.
Fuck yourself.
Ah, the art of distraction. I heard that.
You crazy fuck.
You'll have to do better than that.
And because we kept the bottle, making sure we had a med kit equipped whenever we attacked David, because if the bottle was equipped, it would break. Phase 3 was a doddle. Back as Joel, 10 enemies stood between us and Ellie. Taking up position, the bow and then the revolver annihilated the first 5. Then we sniped the 2 on top of the trucks before taking the last 3 in the following area by surprise. This did almost go wrong because I got cocky, but a stun bomb and the shotgun saved us. To round off winter, Ellie made shish kebab with David's face. Coming into spring, we had 2 more encounters left, but the next one was the largest infected encounter of the game, with a whopping 23 enemies, including 3 bloaters. The strategy here was straightforward enough. Stealth runners where we could, and use bricks, melee and guns where we couldn't, being sure to take advantage of the drops that we got. For the bloaters, fire was the ticket, with the first succumbing to the flamethrower, and the remaining 2 being on the receiving end of not only that, but also multiple Molotovs. It was a frantic fight, but not actually a stressful or messy one, and so we got through it easily enough.
We killed him. I think we got all of them.
I think you're right.
Endure and survive.
The last infected kill of the game is a weak clicker that tries to grab Ellie. And with that, we're on to the Firefly lab. Downstairs, if you do it all in stealth, there are 7 enemies. But after the first 2 stealth kills, I alerted, so I ended up having to kill 16. This was a case of going back and forth between different cover points, popping up for a kill, loud or stealth as the situation dictated, then retreating to the next spot. For the most part, this was straightforward enough, and I only once faced the risk of being flanked or cornered, which a bomb and a Molotov took care of. If anything, once we whittled it down to the final few, it was more a case of struggling to get them to come to me. But, with them all dead, we could surprise the final 3 reinforcements, and then get the guy on the door to finish off the lower floor. Most important now was making sure we had all the supplies we needed from that level, and from the shift door upstairs for our final showdown. With the 8 in the upper area, there was little point in subtlety, so we went loud with a Molotov on one and a shotgun on another as our opening salvo. Then the pattern was simple: retreat, let them lose us, and come back for another pot shot. All pretty simple, and soon enough we were done. All that was left was to rescue Ellie, which of course meant killing the 2 nurses and taking out Jerry by the traditional means. Which brings us to the final kill of part 1, Kill All. Marlene makes the strong case that it should still be Ellie, despite everything Joel's done. But, of course, we need her to lead part 2. So there's only one logical choice.
You just come after her.
With the run done, let's crunch the numbers. In total, we killed 511 enemies, 240 infected, and 271 humans. Of those kills, 422 were made by Joel, and 68 by Ellie. 4 of those when she was an ally, the rest when we were in control. Of the other allies, Tess and Marlene got a single kill each, Bill got 6, Henry got 3, Tommy got 2, and David got 8. This run was my 16th successful grounded permadeath completion on The Last of Us Part 1, which includes multiple sub 4-hour speedruns, a no safes, shivs or upgrades run, a no healing, no upgrades run, and multiple runs as part of the attempts to get the full series as a single permadeath run. On this occasion, the challenge took a total of 6 attempts, with 2 dying in the outskirts, 1 dying in the museum, 1 dying in the graveyard of Billstown, and 1 dying due to a game crash at the end of the sewers. This amounted to 8 hours of failed attempts before a 6-hour, 19-minute successful run. As always, if you want to see this run in full, it's linked in the description. I've got more grounded permadeath challenges planned, and you can catch me attempting these runs live on my stream. There's also a full playlist on the channel of all my completions so far, so check them out. And if you have any suggestions for challenges, let me know in the comments.
Swear to me.
If you enjoyed this video, then give it a like and consider subscribing to keep up to date with all my content. Like the video that's just popped up, which YouTube thinks you should watch next. This is a Patreon and member supported channel, so if you want to become a member and unlock custom badges and emojis, early access to my videos, and your name in the credits, then click the join button below.
Okay.
Thanks for watching, and see you next time.